What's going on, YouTube? So before I get started, I just hit the 500 subscriber mark, and I just want to let you all know that that is greatly appreciated. And I would like to say welcome to all the new subscribers. It has been pushing 2 weeks since my last video. For those of you that are new, just a little bit about myself. You know, I'm retired military and I'm a government contractor now, so as much as I would like to do at least one video a week, sometimes that's just not possible because of my schedule. Not to mention, you know, I'm finally back in school, so I'm down to the last 3 classes for my master's degree finally. I had to, you know, put it off because of my divorce and, you know, moving out to Colorado Springs, and of which the divorce is finally, it's finalized, so I can now finally, you know, move on with life. So hopefully I can, once my degree's done, I can maybe put out more videos, you know, maybe more than once a week, but you know, we'll see. So again, it's greatly appreciated, and thank you for checking out my channel. So if you haven't heard already, Terminator Dark Fate, it completely bombed at the box office. Okay, and the thing is, most of us saw this coming. As soon as we saw that initial trailer that came out that showed that it was going to be an all-female cast, we knew it was going to bomb. Okay, as soon as we saw it, there was no John Connor. It was John Connor had been replaced by a female, and when we saw the Terminator that's in this movie, the CGI was real crappy. Okay, you would expect better CGI considering how you know 2020 is right around the corner. Okay, so Terminator opened up, I think, at 28 million for their opening weekend. However, they were counting on making at least 40 million, and keep in mind they had a almost $200 million budget, and they only made $28 million over the past couple of days. Okay, so this is yet another example of what happens when you decide you want to go woke. You go broke. Okay, they replaced John Connor with a woman, which is okay, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But of course, not only is she a woman, in the movie she becomes an illegal alien sneaking into the United States. So of course, they got to throw in all that identity politics and social justice bullshit into the movie. Another bad thing about this movie, and understand this is just my personal opinion, so take it with a grain of salt, it's the same Terminator script that we see from Terminator, you know, T2, T3, where they send a Terminator to kill someone in the past, and then the Resistance sends a protector. Okay, that worked for Terminator. That worked for Terminator 2. Okay, after that, it starts getting old. Okay, so the person they send back isn't a Terminator. Instead they send back a enhanced, like, cyborg human, or you know, basically a woman who has superhuman abilities. So again, they got to get that feminism in there. Okay, well, keep in mind this movie did so bad, there's probably not going to be a sequel. And how many times have they tried to reboot this series, if you really stop to think about it? Okay, I mean, most people say the Terminator franchise should have ended with T2. Okay, when Terminator 2 came out, and that was what, the late 90s, early 2000s. It was late 90s when Terminator 2 came out. That's when the franchise should have ended, because when Terminator 3 came out, it was just it went downhill. And then you had Terminator Salvation, which I really didn't mind, to be frankly honest with you. It was nice to see what's going on in the future. You see the future war, but then you had that monstrosity of, you know, Terminator Genesis, which completely destroyed the franchise. And I was pretty sure there wasn't going to be another Terminator after watching Genesis. Okay, so initially I was really happy to hear that there was another Terminator, and that the other, you know, Terminator 3, Terminator Salvation, Terminator Genesis, those are no longer considered canon, and this movie is going to pick up where Terminator 2 left off. So the problem with that, none of the Terminator movies have been as good as Terminator 1 and Terminator 2. Okay, T3, Salvation, and Genesis, they just didn't, you know, cut the mustard. Okay, so what happens in Dark Fate? Well, of course, they killed John Connor in the first 5 minutes. All of the other Terminator movies revolved around John Connor's character, and they kill him off in the first 5 minutes. And it turns out that Skynet has sent several Terminators back in time. It wasn't just the first T-800 or the T-1000 that you see in Terminator 2. It sent several of these T-800s back in time to, I guess they figured the more Terminators we send back, the better the chance of John Connor getting killed. Eventually, one of these Terminators catches up to John and Sarah while they're on the beach in Guatemala somewhere, and it kills him at the bar. Okay, and again, that's in the first 5 minutes. And so now, it changes the timeline. So instead of having Skynet, it's now called Legion. And instead of John Connor leading the resistance, well, now it's this woman who's named Danny. And when you see her character, she's just not believable. And it has nothing to do with her being a woman. She just isn't a believable character, or someone who's going to be the savior of the human race against the machines. She just doesn't look capable of doing that. It's just not believable. Okay? And so then you've got the Terminator, the Rev 9. And here are the complaints everyone had from the sequels. Now, what kind of gets me is that when the Sonic trailer came out, and everybody saw what Sonic was going to look like, what did that studio do? They pushed the movie back, they listened to all the criticism they got, and they're fixing how Sonic is going to look in the movie. And whoever the producer or director, I believe, he made a comment stating, hey, this is why you should listen to the feedback of the fan base. Clearly, they didn't like what Sonic was going to look like, and we're listening to that. So they're fixing. So hopefully that works out. Okay, that's what they should have done here, because the main complaint that everyone had was that the CGI looked real shitty. Okay, and then on top of that, the Rev 9, the guy who plays Rev 9, he just doesn't look intimidating. Everybody looked at him and said, this guy looks like he works in an Apple store. Okay, he looks like he works at Best Buy, or he looks like he works on Geek Squad, or whatever the hell that is they have at Best Buy. That's what this guy looks like. Okay, when you look at the T-800 from the first Terminator movie, and then you look at the T-1000, those characters, Arnold, and I can't think of the guy who played the T-1000, they look menacing. Okay, so it was believable. Okay, you see these guys coming after you, and it's gonna chill up your spine. You don't get that with this guy. And then on top of that, he has the same Mimetech, liquid alloy that the T-1000 had. And then in Terminator 3, the TX had that same, it was a coating. There was a frame underneath, but on the skin was that Mimetech, liquid coating. And then for the Rev 9, it's the same thing. Okay, so now this is the third movie where you've got that liquid metal shit, except now the liquid metal can come off, and then it basically, you've got two, units, I guess, or whatever. It's like you've run out of ideas. Okay, how many more times are we going to use that? Okay, come up with something different. It's just like I said earlier in the video. Okay, they're using the same script. Okay, that you can't keep using that, because people are looking at this and they're just thinking, okay, this is just T1 and T2 rehashed. That's all this shit is. So throughout the movie, of course, it's the same thing. The Terminator's chasing after the target. They're running from it. They come across Sarah Connor, so it is kind of nice to see Sarah Connor's character again. Of course, she's much older this time, and she has been killing Terminators, and she lets them know, oh, well, I hunt Terminators, because someone's been sending her messages to let her know, hey, there's a Terminator, and it's going to arrive on this day and time at this location. She has no idea who's sending these messages. She just goes out to this location, and then as soon as the air opens up, that little time bubble comes out of nowhere, the Terminator shows up, she kills it. Okay, has no idea who's sending these texts. Well, they figure out who's sending the text, and it's the T-800 that killed John at the beginning of the movie, because now he's developed a conscience. he now has a family. I guess he's married a woman who had a child from another man, and he's been raising this kid basically like a stepfather. And he tells Sarah that he understands what it is he took from her, and he wants to make it up because now he's developed a conscience, and basically he's become domesticated. Okay, he explains that he does not have a physical relationship with this woman, which just is mind-boggling. How are you married to someone and there's just no sex or no physical contact? And basically he explains that, she liked the fact that I know how to follow instructions and, change dirty diapers, and I don't complain, and I'm funny. This is supposed to be a Terminator, not a cuck. But, hey, fine, whatever. Like I said, they want to go woke. So it's kind of like what they did to Luke Skywalker's character in The Last Jedi. Okay, they completely destroyed that character, and I kind of feel the same with the T-800. The T-800 is still menacing. Even I periodically like to watch the first Terminator movie. I still enjoy it. That Terminator in that movie still looks menacing, just like it does in the second movie. Okay, well, at least when you look at the scenes from the future war. Anyway, those things look scary. They're not supposed to be domesticated, but that's what they did. And of course, and here's the part that really just blows my mind. The person that they send back to protect Danny, who's who's the female, she's now going to save the human race from the machines by leading them to victory. She's not a Terminator. She instead is basically she has superhuman abilities. Now she can stand up to a Rev 9, but she explains that beating one or actually absolutely destroying one is near impossible. And then on top of that, after she fights this thing, she crashes. She reminds me, I was reminded of a time where my dad had a diabetic crash because he hadn't taken his medication. That's what it looks like in the movie, because she just starts to, like, oh my god, I need my medication. If you don't kill this Terminator within the first few minutes, then, my metabolism is too high and I've lost all my energy or whatever. She looks like she's a junkie who's coming down off a high. But it reminded me of when I was 15, my dad didn't take his medication. I had to drag him into the emergency room because he was hard-headed. He didn't like to take his shots. He needed to take the insulin shots, and when he didn't do that, his blood sugar dropped, and I had to physically drag him into the emergency room and I was about 15 when that happened, and that's what this reminded me of, because now she's coming down. How the hell is she supposed to protect Danny from a Terminator who can split into two entities, by the way, when she is having basically a diabetic crash? She looks like a junkie in the damn movie. So fast forward to the end, they have their last stand. Grace dies and sacrifices herself. Arnold dies by sacrificing himself so they could kill this Rev 9. And then basically Danny and Sarah Connor go off into the sunset. And before they leave to go do whatever the hell it is they're going to go do, they go see Grace, who was her protector, but they go see her playing in the park while she's a young little girl prior to Judgment Day. And that's basically how the movie ends. If you're not going to do it right, just don't fucking do it, man. But that's pretty much it. This movie was absolute garbage, and we knew it was going to be garbage. I was kind of really hoping, when it comes to these kind of movies, I was really kind of hoping it would be good. I was willing to give it a shot. But instead of going to the theater, I just downloaded it, and I was able to find a halfway decent, cam or whatever. And I'm pretty glad I didn't go to the movies to waste my money, because I had a suspicion it was going to be garbage, and basically, we've confirmed what everyone already knew. This movie was going to be garbage. So anyway, hopefully you haven't wasted your money by going to go see it. Again, it's a complete waste of your time. They really just need to stop. There probably isn't going to be a sequel to this movie. They need to just, if you're not going to do it right, just leave it alone. In the Terminator franchise, after Terminator 2, okay? The T-1000 gets destroyed. Arnold sacrifices himself. Let's try that again. Arnold sacrifices himself. They destroy, you know, Cyberdyne systems, so Skynet won't exist. That should be it. That should be the end of the franchise right there. Done deal. It's like I'm looking at what episode 9 is going to be. It's going to be a complete shit show, just like this was. Well, anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and make it short because I got to start getting ready for work. So, you know, let me know how you feel in the comments down below. If you like this video, hit that like button. Feel free to share, and I will see you guys next time.